Hello, people. Hello, people. Hello, people. Welcome back. Welcome back. We'll do a review of the January transfer window, but we got one for the summer. A jacket is always good for the winter, but Liverpool. But you can tell I had that ready, didn't you? But it's okay. It's okay. Many people have been using that on Twitter, and whether you're smiling, whether you're trying to smile, whether you're angry and still trying to break out a smile. I'm talking about Gene here, but we'll come to him, we'll come to Jake, and we'll come to Chip, who's working behind the scenes. He's trying to play Connect 4. Maybe those are Liverpool's centre-back pieces for the summer. Who knows? We'll ask him later on. But Jake, Gene, and Avi, welcome. And everyone else, welcome. In the chat, there's already nearly 200 people in the building. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and all that sort of stuff. And hype and share the video as well, people. But Jake, I'm going to come to you. It looks like Jacquet's medical is complete. He's not yet officially been announced by Liverpool, but I think it's just the formalities. Maybe a few videos as well to come out, maybe in the morning. But we just hope we get to see those videos, because if we don't, it'll be heartbreak. But let's not talk about that.
Yeah, listen. We talked a little bit about the need for transfers on the last show. We obviously need some center backs, whether they come in now or in the summer. This guy's been, built up as the next big thing, if you will. And I was talking to Amir yesterday when the news broke about the right back from Sunderland potentially coming over on loan until the end of the season. And everybody was a little bit excited over that. And then as that was happening, the news with Jacquet started to break that a decision on his end was expected to happen, in short order. And I told him straight up, I was like, listen, man, we need more French players, especially after the way Ekitike has blown up on the scene in his, first half a season here, if you will, and less Dutch players. And right away, the club either backed out or Sunderland backed out of the right back. And today or yesterday, late last night, my time at least, we agreed to fee with Rennes for Jacquet. So long story short, I'm pleased to get a French player, number one. Number two, we've been talking about really for years now the need of adding a center back to this club. I don't know too much about the player. I haven't seen much of him at all, but from all reports that I've read, he's a big talent, which is obviously what we need. So I'm thrilled with the signing. I'm not, and I also mentioned this to Amir yesterday, I'm not in the same camp as Sheen or even as you or as everybody else, where I feel this massive need of desperation to bring somebody in right now. Am I saying I don't want a signing in January? No, I'm not saying that, but I am saying I think we have enough to do the job at hand, and I'm calm with the players that we have. I do feel as if we absolutely need a center back for the summer, and now we have hopefully at least one under the belt once this deal gets concluded.
Gene, are you calm today?
Look, Asim, I'm calm in terms of what's to come in terms of the summer. Look, I spent most of the last night after the show and most of the day watching a lot of compilations of Jacquet. So, once I see Jacquet quite a few times, you think, why this lad looks the bee's knees. And that's what I've done most of the day. Obviously, you see stats that have been flying around all day regarding how good he's been, and you think, you know what? Okay, fair play to the board for getting this one done. And yes, I'm happy we managed to get one over the line for the summer, especially knowing that there's going to be a lot of business that needs to be done for the summer. To get one over the line, it helps. Yeah, it helps, especially when he's a big talent, especially the way, you guys have been speaking about him. Avi's been speaking so highly about him. You think, okay, fine. You know what? Makes our life slightly easier come the summer, because we definitely know we need to sign at least two defenders. But I come back to the same old thing, though. End of the day, I know Jake said, he thinks we've got enough to get us over the line in terms of the top 4-5. places. I'm not as confident as you guys. I'll be honest. I'm not here to be the negative person. I'm not. I'm genuinely still worried because I just think that what, I've seen United, I've seen Chelsea. I know they're playing well. Do I think Aston Villa will capitulate to a level that where they'll completely drop out the top 5 places? Probably not. Yes, they maybe struggle, but can I see them, going on a complete downer where they, go from third to sixth? Can't really see that happening, and we have to go on an unbelievable run. So I'm not happy in the sense that we didn't bring anybody in, Asim. I can't sit here and say that I am. I'll be lying to say that because on the first week of January, I was sat here
Mm.
called gross misconduct if Liverpool doesn't bring in a defender in January. We were all sat here, with all respect, you, Avi, whoever was on the panel, every single one of us, we were calling it. What were we calling it? Gross misconduct, criminal. These are the words that were used by us guys on this panel 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, sorry. So to now, not signing anyone, it's not, it hasn't got any better in terms of the defenders. If anything, it's got worse because we've picked up a few more injuries.
Mm.
It is what it is.
But
Look, people can say I'm complaining. I'm always real with what I believe. If I believe in something, I'll come out and say it. And they should have done some business in January. We should have bought somebody in this team. But Jalo,
mm.
let's see how well this team does over the next few months, and if indeed we get the top 5 places to get us Champions League, we have a decent run in the a decent run in the Champions League this season. Then we'll see it as a small success, if you know what I mean. But if
Let
we're
me
on
let
it,
me ask you this. Let me ask you this one question.
yes,
Are you, and I know it obviously has to do with both competitions. I'm not trying to just suggest there's only one competition, but are you more eager to sign somebody to give us better chances to secure Champions League for next season, or to
yes,
give us more depth
100%.
to?
Look,
Okay,
I want to win the look. Anybody's? I'd be lying to say that once you're in the Champions League, Jake, and you're into the last 16, you look at that draw and you think, okay, maybe you look at the teams and you think, you know what, you still every year we want to win the Champions League, regardless. But the fear, Jake, if we can lose the Champions League in a semi-final, it can happen. You can lose a quarter-final in a Champions League, that can happen. But the fear isn't losing the Champions League quarter-final. The fear is missing out on top 5. That's the fear, if I'm honest. We won one game in January in the Premier League, and I know obviously that was this weekend. It was a good win. We won 4-1, the tails are up sort of thing, and it was a great victory. It was in the grand scheme of things. But we have to understand, Jake, is we've got Man City on the weekend, right? They're obviously 6 ahead. It's a massive game. We don't, obviously, I'm not saying we, lose that and Chelsea and United win, Jake. It's, what is it, 5-4 already behind? It's a possibility that can happen. It's the fear of that, thinking if we pick up another injury, we didn't bring somebody in. Just imagine we pick up another injury in the back line with the amount of games that these guys have been playing. It's a fear, man, and I'd be lying to say I'm not. But I'm trying to be positive. Okay, we move on to City. We had a good win on the weekend. Let's see what happens on the weekend, and hopefully we're praying that we win, and then we can move forward.
Avi, I must come to you. I think this is the world record, BNR world record, 8.5 minutes in, and you have not said a single thing. Maybe we need to keep you in the office more often. Welcome to BNR, a very, very well behaved Avi, I must say. Jake is very calm. Gene, it feels like he wants to burst. He wants to burst because at the end of the day, we all did. Let's be honest. Use words like criminal, misconduct, negligence, all these words. How do you feel today after the window is closed, Avi?
Look, without sounding diplomatic, I get where Gene's coming from. I totally get where Jake's coming from. I'm more leaning towards Jake's side that we have brought in a top defender in the summer. And look, Jeremy Jacquet will be a brilliant defender for us. He will go down as one of the best. That's a prediction already that I've put out there. But yes, look, we tried to get Gertrude done though, didn't we? and it didn't happen. The only problem with that is, why did we wait 72 hours to get a deal done for Gertrude? If we were monitoring him, if Slot has liked him and has had him as a captain at PSV, and he hasn't got into the Sunderland team in the last 2-3 weeks, what the F were we waiting for? That's what my disappointment is in this. Like, why didn't we pursue Gertrude earlier on? Why are we waiting till 72 hours to go, 48 hours to go, and all of a sudden we've got an invitation to go for Gertrude, and then Sunderland can't find a replacement, and then they've pulled the plug. We look like idiots.
Didn't we go?
look-
Didn't we go?
as-
Sorry to come in. Didn't we go for Dumfries first?
Asim, look, apparently Inter's president or whoever, not Marathi, whoever it was, coming out that there was interest in Dumfries. But Dumfries is out till February anyway. He's out till the end of February. So what are we doing there? And then they've come back with saying, okay, we like Curtis Jones. So we rebuffed that. But Gertrude, for me, is one of those players who, I think we mentioned yesterday, versatility, flexible. He knows Slot. He can go right back, left back, centre back. He would have been a very good covering player. And he would have been a starter whilst Frimpong comes back from injury. I get the disappointment from Gene. I don't get the anger from Gene. And look, we do have a bare thin squad. It is bare thin at the moment. Frimpong is groin issues and the 2 hamstring issues he's pulled up.
I must come in there.
1 minute before you start doing your stuff. It is disappointing. And look, we don't know whether Frimpong can play 20 games in the trot once he comes back. I fear another breakdown in him.
But
So the squad is bare thin.
I must ask you, because you've been on numerous occasions. Look, I don't know Jake's previous opinions because obviously he's been away from the camera, but he's still been very consistent. He said it, I'm very calm. We don't need to add to the squad depth and all that sort of stuff. We had a lively debate the other day, as you know. But you've been very consistent. You've been agreeing with Gene. And whenever he's been using words like misconduct and negligence and all these sort of stuff, you've agreed with him. So how can you say after the window's been closed and say, I don't understand Gene's anger? It don't make sense to me.
The club has tried to do a deal, and they were very confident in getting the Gertrude deal done. But like Gehi, the club, the opposing club, has pulled the plug. There's no doubt. Apparently, he was saying his goodbyes to Sadiq, Shatiki.
but
everyone
also-
at Sunderland. He was saying his goodbyes. So the
But
deal was in
also-
place.
But also, Alex Crook, the briefing to him was Liverpool went for Gertrude, but then suddenly realized they've got Frimpong and Gomez coming back.
That's not BS. That's BS. That's BS.
So,
Asim,
but you
I
have,
think-
well, you know,
Asim,
you don't,
even if-
you can't just
even if-
believe everything. You want to believe Alex Crook when you want to believe him. You don't want to believe him when you don't want to believe him. He's close to Richard Hughes. Let's not forget.
Asim, let's be sensible. Asim, let's be sensible here. Joe Gomez has got no guarantee that he doesn't pull up again, and there's no guarantee that Frimpong pulls up again. So this narrative that Alex Crook has put out saying that, oh, Liverpool believe that Frimpong and Gomez are coming back, so they didn't feel the need for Gertrude. It makes no sense then. Then why go for the player initially then? Why are you going for the player initially if your medical staff are saying that they're only a week or so away? That doesn't make no sense either. The club wanted Gertrude. Sunderland didn't find a replacement, so they pulled plug.
Yeah, that's the part that I can't understand. It's not like the club just found out that these players are coming back. I mean, that's embarrassing too. That's
Crook is
embarrassing to
exactly
say.
that. That his name says it all. That's what he is.
Listen, so just because they went for a player, with all due respect to Avi, what they've said, just because they went for a player at the 11th hour doesn't make it okay. Just
It
because
doesn't.
Avi,
We should have done.
just because the club tried on the 11th hour doesn't make it okay. Asim, you had a month.
We
to
should have
do
done
business.
homework. Yeah. That's where
you can't.
I agree with that. The groundwork.
Tried and say, "TK, we tried, boys. Sorry, you tried with the other player. Sorry, doesn't work, Avi. We needed reinforcements for
No, I agree
January.
with you.
We didn't get
I
them,
agree
and
with
that
you.
is on the board for messing that up. Yes, I'm happy with the
Avi,
carrot of the summer.
Both the messages down.
Avi, you keep I think making contact with your wires, and it's a weird noise.
Don't touch where the mic is, Avi. Here, just don't. touch
Hello,
that.
testing 1 2 1 2.
Can't hear you.
Hello.
We can carry on.
Yeah, we can.
If we were in the title race, I think I would feel different. If we were in second place in Manchester City's position, 6 points behind, 4 points behind, whatever the case is, I would be a lot more aggressive in my pursuit of strengthening the squad. Like I said on the show the other day, our squad is good enough to finish top 5 with what we have. I don't think adding players to the squad is necessary, like necessary in the sense of if we don't add, we won't finish in top 5. I don't think it's going to change anything. I think we're going to finish in top 5 anyways. If you want to make an argument and say, I want to make a run for the Champions League and I want to strengthen the squad for that I would probably agree with. But like I said, I'm calm. If we were in second place, then I would change my tune. I would say we need to add to this team because the team is not good enough to win the title the way that it is. But we're not challenging for the title.
Would you say the club have taken a massive gamble though?
In which sense? In which direction? Like if
now?
No, I don't think so. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think there's a gamble. I think we're going to finish top 5.
you
We
think
should
that-
finish top
You're
5.
not worried about
the way that
Liverpool.
it is.
So you're not worried at all about Liverpool finishing outside the top 5, Jay?
We're not finishing outside the top 5.
I'm asking you a question.
I don't think we are, but I am
And I'm
worried.
answering for him.
And I'll tell you why. I'm worried because of the manager. I'm not worried because of the squad.
But why don't you support that manager then? In making sure he gets top 4, top 5, even with one signing.
Because that's not going to guarantee that we
Because the
finish top 5
manager is
anyways.
part of Liverpool, Jake.
But that's what I'm saying is it's not gonna change, in my opinion, whether we get top 5 or not, whether you make that signing. I'm not saying it's not gonna help at all. I'm just saying it's not guaranteed to make a difference one way or the other. I think we're good enough to finish top 5 the way that it is. And if we don't finish top 5, it's not because we didn't sign somebody, it's because the manager isn't good enough.
But the reason why you bring players in is even bad managers, you sort of like mask their deficiencies, don't you? I've seen some really average managers win a lot of things because they had a lot of good players.
If you want to give yourself a little bit of, breathing room, if you will, to strengthen your chances, okay, I'm not going to sit here and say if you add somebody to the team, it's not going to make it more likely that you finish in top 5. That's just a stupid comment to make, but I don't think it's necessary. I think we're going to finish top 5 without it. But the concern that I do have is if we don't finish top 5, it's not the squad, it's the manager.
Are you worried about finishing it? I want to ask them, do a poll on.
We got the Chile lean very early today.
Can I just come in on this a little bit, Asim? I think it's
not that.
I know.
Just Gene, you're frozen again. You're frozen again.
But whenever I do a poll, Asim, I freeze for some reason. So
yeah. Okay. Even the computer shits it when Gene leans. Gene, the poll should be: have Liverpool gambled?
No. Let him do what he wants. Liverpool going to finish outside the top 5.
Look, Asim, it's not. I should do. Worried? Liverpool? Are you not worried? Because obviously Jake doesn't seem like he's worried about finishing top 5.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I'm not worried, to be honest.
I'm worried.
Have you seen our running, by the way?
Yes, I've seen ours, I've seen Villa's, I've seen Chelsea's, I've seen Man United's as well. And I actually texted you lot the fixture list in that group which Shahid, then all everyone, and I gave us enough points to secure top 5. Villa's Tatti Ari hai. I'm telling you now, Villa's Tatti Ari hai. The Thursday Sunday combo is going to kill them. I'm telling you, it's going to kill them. Europa League football is going to kill them and kill their run.
I'm very surprised at Jake and Avi saying we're not worried about our top 4, top 5 position, sitting in 6th.
Because you're acting as if we're 7-8 points behind. It's 2 points between us and United. This
But
carrot bounce.
You're also acting like it's September.
This carrot bounce is coming to an end soon. Rosinha is getting a tune out of Chelsea. I'm telling you, our fixtures, Asim, we have a better fixture of list. The next 14 games are a lot easier than United's and Chelsea's and Villa's. Villa marge sale pancho.
By the way, people, I've just received a message. Aggregators assemble. Aggregators assemble.
Hello, 10 days then.
Ordinance is signing.
Aggregators.
Where's he playing? Right centre back.
Right-sided. Okay. Aida. I'm telling you, Aida. Asim, I'm not worried. If I'm honest, I'm not worried. Okay, can we not do what we did yesterday, where the show was a chaotic mess? See, Jake, we're hosting from South America, North America, and look at these two idiots from Bradford.
Listen,
No
if I
respect.
get a
No respect.
message, if I'm getting a message, I have to tell the people, man. I have to tell the people.
Did I chacha message kar?
Okay, if we don't get an announcement in the next 2-3 minutes, then you can say, Asim, look.
What I don't want to mislead people on is I'm not saying 1000% we're going to finish top 5. I do have doubts, but the doubts lie on the shoulders of the manager. I'm not convinced with the manager. The manager concerns me. All that I'm saying is if you bring in whichever player, let's just say you get this Gertrude guy in from Sunderland on loan, you think all of a sudden now we're going to finish in top 5? That ain't going to make a difference whether you finish in top 5 or not.
Okay. Gina, I get the feeling you.
Asim, can I say something controversial? Can I say something controversial?
You can say anything you like.
And this is gonna set Gina's ass on fire. I mentioned on Friday that I saw Noah Adekoya. Asim, he could be like a fourth foil for us in the FA Cup games at least. He is a talent. He's tall, 6'3" already. He's physically built out. I honestly rate the kid, Gene.
And what do you want me to do about him?
No, I'm just telling you,
you
maybe the
say that.
club thinks the same as well.
Whether he's good enough to start for Liverpool in the next year. To start Liverpool games in the next few weeks.
No, not in the next year. No, but he could. Maybe you could give him FA Cup games.
Jacquet announced? Has he got announced, Gene?
Announcement. Jeremy Jacquet.
Maniavi?
No,
Maniavi?
you're always Mania. You're always Mania. कोई उड़ने छोड़ने से कोई खबर?
Ravi, why are you coming for me today, Ra?
Because you think that you're being negative
I
Nancy
said
again.
I wanted Ordonez over Jacquet. That's when you asked me that question.
No, it's not about that. You're being very negative.
I wasn't
we've
being
got
really
enough.
negative.
Official announcement, people. We have reached an agreement for the transfer of Jeremy Jacquet from Stade Rennais, with the defender set to join ahead of the 26-27 season, subject to a work permit and international clearance. Wow. There's the official
Work
announcement.
permit for that. He's not South American, is he? What do you mean work
I
permit?
expected a bit of a video, man. Chalo, maybe next time. Gina, we set the poll up.
Yeah, I have. That's done. Paul's done, Asim. Paul's done.
Okay.
So the 115 votes have come in. Are you guys worried Liverpool will miss out on top 5? Yes. 70% of people so far are saying yes.
That they fear, that they've got that fear.
That they're worried.
Well, more fool them then. That's what I'll say.
Just saying. I'm actually surprised you guys are so confident.
I've seen the run-ins. That's why I'm confident.
We've got Villa away, United away, Chelsea home in the last 4 games, I think.
No, not last 4 games. It's evenly split. You've got Chelsea
Sure?
third
We've
to last
definitely
game.
got United and Chelsea in the last 4 games.
Chelsea and Villa.
Fixtures.
Jack, while CeeLo checking the fixtures, I want to ask you, how do you see
Sorry. Our last 4 games are United away, Chelsea home, Villa away, and then Brentford. So our last 4 games are them 3 teams. And 2 of them are away.
If any football club can...
Basically, from now on...
We need 10 wins out of 14, I'm telling you now.
After the Man City, we have to be on it. It's as simple as that.
Asim, we need 10 wins just to be safe. 10 wins get us 69 points, I believe. 69 points is enough this season to get top 4, top 5.
Anyway, you guys carry on. I need to check this, man.
कोई agenda है or we
Jake, I wanna ask you, Jake, is how do you see this defense going then? Do you think Liverpool were looking for Gertrude? Because I don't believe this, and I think we all don't believe this on the panel. It was a really, really weird briefing from Alex Crook. Whether they pulled out, whether Sunderland couldn't replace, Gertrude and get another body in. Do you think there's an element of Liverpool thinking, you know what, we've got a real chance at going for Jeremy Jacquet? Apparently, Chelsea were faffing around with the deal and the structure and all that sort of stuff. Apparently, Ekatike and Ibu even got on the phone, and there were massive players in the negotiations as well. And I've confirmed that as well. But do you think there is an element of Liverpool thinking, you know what, we could really hijack this deal, put away the Gertrude and go for a long-term option? And considering the contract situation of Kanate, it is this roundabout, this period of February, March, where Liverpool start drawing a line under things, whether it comes to negotiations, incomings, outgoings, as we saw last year with Trent, where we gave him, apparently we gave him a deadline and said, you know what, are you staying or are you going? We got the official answer and we moved. And so did he. Do you think we're at that sort of junction right now with Kanate?
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't doubt that one bit. I mean, once we talked about this with Trent last year, and I know it played out a little bit different with Mo and Virgil, but we always had different feelings on how Mo and Virgil's situations were going to unfold than we had with Trent. So where I'm going with this is basically saying we knew at this point in time last year, even before this point in time with last year, when the deal wasn't concluded with Trent, we were most likely going to lose him. And I think that's how most of us feel right now with Konate. So I think the club knows where they stand with Konate. I don't think that the Jacquet deal has anything to do with the Gertrude deal. I don't think we would have brought the right back in. It would have changed whether we've gone in for this center back or vice versa. But I do think, and I don't think we hijacked the deal. I don't think that's what happened at all. I could be mistaken. I don't think so. I don't think so because we're always a club that when we're interested in a player, it's long-standing interest. So we don't just usually come in last second and steal a deal, usually. But even with this deal in particular, Romano always had us in the deal. While other people were saying he prefers Chelsea are the favorites, this, that, and the other, Romano always said Liverpool are still in there. Don't forget about Liverpool. They're still fighting hard for this deal. So I don't necessarily think we hijacked the deal per se. I could be wrong. I just think we were always there and we ended up winning the deal in the end. But regardless, if you want to call it a hijacking or if we just won the deal outright, it really doesn't make much of a difference to me. At the end of the day, we got the center back over the line. This was obviously if not the main target of the summer, one of the main targets for the summer. And they were able to close this deal and get over the line. I see so many people, and I kind of understand. I'm not going to sit here and suggest I don't understand it, going after Michael Hughes. But you look at the signings we've had since the summer.
Yeah.
Alexander Isak, Florian Wirtz, Jacquet, Frimpong, Kirkes. When other clubs put together these types of windows and then their fan base says we want more signings after they had just spent 450 million pounds in the summer, what is your reaction? Your reaction is, look at these lot. They just spent 450 million pounds and now they're still asking for more money to be spent. That's how I feel listening to you guys complaining about Michael Hughes, if I'm honest. I'm like, we just spent 450 million pounds in the summer. We just spent another 60 million pounds on this guy today.
Yeah, but we also sold 250 million worth of assets.
Let him land.
Fine, that's fine. I'm not sitting here saying we didn't sell and make good money. I'm just saying we've bought in loads of players, and the management of this club have done the best job as far as buying players. I'm not talking about the best job in the sense of the caliber of players. I'm just talking about the best job in the amount of money that's been spent that we've been asking for years and years. It's finally happened, and we're still not grateful for it. I'm sitting here thinking we got We got almost everything that we need. I'm not saying we don't have missing pieces. We got almost everything that we need. We just spent $500 million. We got a squad that can, from a player perspective, can compete with anybody in Europe. But I got doubts about the manager. Get the manager sorted out, and I got almost everything else.
Can I
in
come
line.
back to you?
GOJ.
You're
GOJ.
talking about, shut up, Avi. You're talking about being ungrateful for in regards to Michael Edwards, and you spent all this money, 450 million pounds, the caliber of the name that you've just all the ones that you reeled off, and including Jacquet. And you're saying listening to you guys are being ungrateful. We're listening to you about the manager, and me as well, because I wanted him out because he won us the league.
That's fine.
Does he need to deserve a bit of time? Why you
He
being
does.
why are we all being ungrateful in regards to the manager?
Well, okay, I'll explain to you
I've
why.
said it. Meta kya 18 months.
I know. I explained this on the last episode. I explained my stance. I said up until 2 weeks ago, my stance was this manager deserves more time, and he has my backing. I was never on these shows for the last 6 months or whatever, so I didn't say it on these shows. And not like I'm having conversations with people outside of the shows. I'm just to myself saying I'm still supporting the manager. The problem I have is when you look at the hard facts. It's not a spell of 10 games. It's not a spell of 15 games. It's not a spell of 20 games. It's not a spell of 30 games. It's not even a spell of 50 games. This is going back like 60 games now, somewhere in that neighborhood, all competitions where the performances just aren't good enough. Then when you couple that with the comments that he's making, that in my opinion, do nothing but make the situation worse, it's put me in a position where my feelings towards the manager have changed. Now, he's still here. I don't think he's getting fired, at least not today, after what happened on the weekend. So he has an opportunity to still fix the situation. But the point remains the same. I still have doubts on whether he's going to be able to carry us to where we want this club to go. Let me put this into perspective for you because I did it for myself. And this is what ultimately was like the flip of the switch for me. I never wanted to fire him this season. I said he deserves time. He's earned the respect from me, from the fan base, to turn this thing around. But let's fast forward, and regardless of how this season unfolds, and we're in the summertime now, and let's just say we finish 5th place or 4th place, but for the most part, the performances stay the same. It's hard to say you should fire him, but then when I sit down and I say, okay, we're going into 2026-27, are we going to compete with Arsenal to win the league? My opinion would be no. I don't have confidence we're going to compete for the league with this manager. So if that's how I feel, why would I keep him around? My opinion would be we have to fire him because we have the squad, in my opinion, to win the league next season. I need a manager that I feel confident is at least going to put me in position to do that. And right now, unless things change, my opinion is no, we won't compete for the league next season with this manager.
Okay.
Asim, I need to come in now because I stayed quiet. I listened to you both speak, especially when you mentioned that we're being ungrateful. Avi, listen up, man. What you do? Why are you making them?
I've not spoken either today.
Okay, speak on.
No, you go because you wanted to.
No, I'm quiet now. You've shut me up. You might as well speak.
No. I agree with what look. I agree totally, Jake, with you, but I do think that this team still needs 3-4 additions. I know you're saying it's ready and it needs a new manager, but this team still needs a little bit of construction work to be done, and that's about 4 players. If we're being truthful.
Okay, have you finished?
Left winger, right winger, and arguably you're looking at another central defender and 2 midfielders as well in the summer, Jake, because I do think McAllister and Jones will leave. That's just my opinion. I'm finished now. Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, Jay, you said we're being ungrateful, especially when they've gone and spent £450 million. I think that's a lot of tosh. They didn't spend fuck all the summer before. They didn't spend a penny in the summer before. How is that? If anything, we've given the board time. They've just given us 1 window out of 4. So how is that? With respect, how is that giving us one? How is that us being disrespectful?
I'm not saying he's being disrespectful to what they've done. What I'm saying is, for the first time the board has done what we asked for them to do. You can go back in history, and I'm not defending them 2 windows, 3 windows, 4 windows ago, and all of that. What I'm saying is they finally did what we want for them to do.
Yeah, but that's
And
they
they've
didn't
done
do
enough. They've done enough from the
They
summer
didn't do
until
enough.
now.
They did not do enough, Jay.
They did
If you
enough.
look at the team right now, they can't have done enough. How come they just because they spent
I
and
mean,
got
put
rid
yourself
of
on me, man.
and bought in, spent 4 and 2, recouped 250 million, sold Diaz when they shouldn't have, they didn't get Gay over the line in the last minute. That left us short.
We're
That left
always
us
left. We're always left short. Of course, you can always have more. I'm not saying they couldn't have added more. Of course, they can add more. When you look at it, it's all relative in relation to the typical windows that we get as LFC supporters. They went above and beyond what we could ask for between the summer and now, and they just did another 60 million pound transaction.
How did they go above and beyond?
This is crazy, man. If we rewind to the last time I was on this show,
Yeah,
not
how?
yesterday's
I'm
episode,
not happy
but
with
6
the
months ago,
signings.
none of you guys were sitting here telling me we were
I
left
was-
short. The board didn't
I
do
was-
enough.
I was
No, you were
genuine.
not.
No,
Absolutely not.
look,
None of you guys were.
No,
As
Jay,
things look, when we did a transfer review, Avi was on that and Gene was on that. I said we're short.
Yeah, but the majority, Asim, gave it 8 and 9 out of 10. No, Jake, the majority in the panel, we did give it an 8, 9. Yeah,
we
Asim,
did.
you did say we were left winger short, centre back, but you still gave it a 7.5. I think a 7 out of 10 window.
I think I
On
went
the
up to
general
8
consensus,
after you guys went crazy at me.
on the general consensus, we were all happy. It's just because of the form, then the complaints really started coming out. We were a defender short, a left winger short. Only when we went on a bad run after the Palace game, and that run from September to November, which is understandable. But Jake's argument is true.
One at a time.
Jake's argument still stands. Last summer, everyone was fucking giving 9, 10s out of 10 window, and that FSG had finally come to the fore.
In my opinion, I gave it, let's just say I gave it a 9 or even 10 out of 10 in the summer. I still stand by that being a 9 or 10 out of 10 window. We've got the best 9 in the world. We got the best 10 in the world. And now all of a sudden we got, I don't even know where Ekitike ranks in the grand scheme of things as far as number 9s, but if he's not the best 9 in the world, he's up there with amongst the best 9s in the world. How many best players in the world do you guys want?
Avi, Jake, that is not the problem. That is not the problem. The problem that you have to understand is they gave us an unbelievable one summer in God knows how many years. Fine, they gave us a good summer.
But I'm not talking about what happened in the last 10 years. I'm talking one window.
We're sat in 6th. If I'm honest with you, sometimes it is a player profile problem. It's not just about the manager being an issue. The manager, if we're all with all due respect, I looked at this team in November. You knew the problems of this team. It didn't have a winger. You knew the problem that we didn't have a ball playing force player at the back, Bar Van Dijk. That was the problem. So who's that on? Not the manager. We all knew that Van Dijk is the only player that could really play out of the ball. We all knew that because we were a winger short. We had no, there was nobody that was going to press. Because Salah can't press, Gakpo can't press, Ekitike can't press, Isak can't press, Wirtz, sort of can press. But that's about it. So who's that on? Is it on the manager or we blame the board? Because the board, we're told is that yes, the manager has an input, but they're the ones who go and buy the players.
It's a collective. Collectively, they were at fault. Collectively, they were all at fault. Collectively, they were all at fault.
Exactly. So then I can't sit here right now and say yes, we're being disrespectful. We're being disrespectful. If they did some business in January, Jake, they bought in a Gay. Fine, we couldn't be. We're not disrespectful. Then I would give them the flowers. You know what? We were short in the summer. You came in January. You solved the problem that we all feel like is a problem. You solved it. Fine, we crack on. Because yes, in the summer we knew we were gonna have a bit of a revamp. They did a revamp, which we were all happy with. It hasn't worked out over the first few months. Fine, I'm happy. Okay, it hasn't worked out. Yes, we're not happy because we're sat in 6th place, but that does not mean that there's still a big problem with this team. We're still defenders short. We've got injuries, and Sev, going by the chat, you're not worried about top 5, Jake. I am. I'm worried that there is a big chance Liverpool can still miss out on top 5. And one of the reasons for me is because if we don't strengthen in a position where one injury Gomez is all injured anyway. One injury to Kanate, who we've been lucky the last 18 months hasn't been injured. Yeah. If he gets injured, then what? Gravenberch at centre back. We've already got Dominic Szoboszlai playing right back. Our best winger is playing right back. Endo is playing at centre back. Do you want to
I-
see Endo at centre back?
I agree with that. If you have an injury to Konate, we are in trouble. And I'm not saying what I'm going to say right now to make it sound like this is the right way to handle this. That's not what I'm saying. But this is how this club always operates. We're always left a little bit short. We've been in this position where if Konate gets hurt, and he has for his entire career, bar the last 18 months that you've mentioned, then we're in a position where it sucks. That's just the way life has always been. We've always been
this
in
is
this
where you're
world.
wrong. This is where you're wrong. Because at 1 minute you're saying to us, don't have a go at Michael Edwards. Then 5 minutes later, Jake, you're saying the actual squad depth is one injury away. You just said it. Konate gets injured, we're in trouble. So how can you go from like dependent on one injury from saying we are calm and we're all gonna be all right, but we're gonna wait one injury, lads, for being in trouble? It doesn't make sense.
I'll explain to you. And I just said that what I was going to say was going to have that reaction. Obviously, that's what you would think. But the point is this is how the club always operates, and it's never come back to bite us.
What?
When have you had an injury that's cost us the season? It's never happened.
Jake,
Liverpool have a row of seasons.
Respectfully, the 2020-2021 season where Matip, Van Dijk, Gomez got injured, to bring in...
Yeah, if you lose your whole team, we're not talking about losing no team. We're talking about losing Konate right now.
Jake,
what I'm saying...
Jake, in that January of 2021, we could have gone out. We could have gone out and brought... I think we beat Palace 7-0, 6-0. We were top of the league. They could have gone out and brought two genuinely good defenders. We brought in Ben Davis and Ozan Kabak. That was negligence. And then we had agreed a deal for Konate in March because Leipzig were adamant they weren't going to sell him in January, similar to what we've done with Jacquet. But 2021 is the clearest. And look, that comes straight away to mind that we left ourselves short. The season when we got in Arthur, we needed a midfielder, and they gave him Arthur on loan on the last day of the transfer window.
The point, I get it, but the point I'm making is you're never going to have a squad, at least as a Liverpool supporter, and probably with most clubs in Europe, where you say, you know what, we got cover in every single position and we can handle whichever amount of injuries this squad happens to take. It's just never going to be in that position, especially our club. The club has gone on record multiple times saying, through both managers, the last two managers that we've had, saying it's either coming from the board or it's coming from the managers, we want a smaller squad. And these are the problems that you get with having a smaller squad. I'm not sitting here saying
that's
I don't
wrong.
want a defender.
We should be speaking out.
You can say that it's wrong. That's fine. It's not right. I'm not saying it's right, but it is what it is, and it's not an excuse to make. The manager's got the tools. Get the job done. That's it. Okay. Stop making excuses, manager, and just do your job and finish top 4, top 5.
Jake, any other season, I would probably agree with you. But this season, I don't agree with you. You know why? We went for Mark Gay. We went for Mark Gay in the summer because we knew that in the centre-back position, there is an issue right now, right? So we went in for him to try and sign a player. But they went in for him knowing that this team needs a centre-back this season. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gone in for him. So we went in for him. We didn't get him.
Nobody is saying we don't need him. Nobody's saying we don't need a centre-back. Everybody knows we need a centre-back.
Yes.
What I'm saying...
Right? So then if that is the case, when you've picked up an ACL injury for Leone, yeah, who's a young centre-back anyway, right? He's picked up it's imperative you go and sign another centre-back in January if you have any big aspirations of doing something. If you want to go and win a Champions League, you got to go and hopefully go and buy a centre-back.
That goes back to my point that I said earlier. If we were challenging for the title, it would be imperative to sign a defender. We're trying to finish top 5, man. Don't tell me we can't finish top 5. Even if Konate gets hurt, let's say Konate gets hurt, we should still finish top 5.
Mate, you're more confident.
I think. No. Gene, let me land. I think what Jake is trying to say, the squad, and these where I believe Jake, the squad is more than capable to finish in the top 3, top 4. Even if we get a Konate injury, yeah, and we have to rely on Gomez and Van Dijk. I mean, Gomez is out this time around because he clashed with Alisson. Otherwise, he's back for the City game. Yeah, you got Gomez back. Konate will be back as well. Konate is back, so you got your 3 defenders back. Leone is obviously a write-off. We know that. Gravenberch can be a filler. It's not ideal, but he can be a filler. Yeah, maybe there was no one else to get in, Gene, in the thingy. I'm thinking, okay, you lot were Ordinance. Is Ordinance ready to come in now? Is Jacquet
not
ready to
sure.
come in now? Was Jacquet ready to come in now? Or is he better off playing another 25 games for Ren this season and bring him in the summer? Who actually, realistically, Gay we couldn't get because he had already said hard to City because of the compensation package. Then realistically, who was there to get?
Avi,
Schlotterbeck, Asim?
then
Schlotterbeck?
no, 1 second, Avi. Then there's a problem with everything we do. If he's not available, he's not available. If he's available, we can't buy him. Why? Because he wants high wages. It's always a problem, isn't there? Because of how everything is. You're always looking for the perfect signing. It has to be the perfect signing. Whereas sometimes you have to, wiggle a little bit. We haven't signed. Avi, the truth is, we signed 2 centre backs in bloody 8, 9 years. So that's on the board, no? For not bringing in centre backs.
Yes,
Two signings in 9 years, and I refuse to believe that you're saying to me, who now? Okay, you maybe over the last 6-7 years, I think whenever we haven't signed centre backs, have we? Who's that on? Okay, Joe Gomez has been injury prone for 6 years.
Okay, Gene. Then give me a name. Give me a name then.
Just
who you're
generally,
gonna-
Avi, look, you're the scout. You guys are the ones that scout all this. No,
Yeah,
no,
I
generally
scout.
speaking, I'm
I
genuinely
scout
saying-
youngsters. I scout youngsters. I don't
Avi,
scout like.
I'm genuinely saying, innit? You guys know players more than me. I refuse to believe that you guys, that especially when we need 2 or 3 centre backs. Okay, if Kanate is going like a lot of people are saying, I think he'll stay. But if most of you guys believe he's off, then you need 3 centre backs, don't you? How is somebody who's not good enough in January and is good enough in the summer? Okay, I understand some players don't want to leave in January, but we've done big deals in January previously. What does it boil down to? Throw the money and you get the player.
But then who would you put in January? That's what I'm trying to say.
Look, we had Mark
Schlotterbeck
Gay in our pocket.
Schlotterbeck just proposed to his girlfriend at
We
Dortmund, so
we
he
had
wasn't
Mark
coming in
Gay our
January.
pocket. We let it go because of Pesa in it.
What?
We had Mark Gay literally in our jacket.
We were not going to pay what City were ready to pay for him. There's no way we're paying him 300,000 a week, and that's what we got. We got gazumped by City.
Okay,
we
but
got gazumped.
this is what I'm trying to say. Don't say there are not players. Then there are players, but we don't. There are players, but we just don't want to pay the money for them.
No, we have a structure in place. That's why we've been so successful, Gene. We have a wage structure in place, and we only pay, what in comparative with all the rest of the players. Salah and Van Dijk are an exception. They're an exception because of the service they've given and the quality they've given over the last 8-9 years. But do not make this mistake that we are very, very well financially well.
No one denies that. No one denies
This is
that.
why United are in the bed. This is why United and Radcliffe are in the shits, basically, because of the wage structure they've had, this policy they've had over the last 10-15 years. Name me a defender we could have realistically got in January then. Gehi aside.
Gertrude on January 1st.
And they tried
Because
for
we
that.
were-
Asim, they
No, we
tried.
didn't try. Well, we just realized on the 28th of January.
You think that guy's gonna make a difference in our season?
Avi, Jake,
It's called depth, Jake.
it's called depth. It gives you a chance, doesn't it, Jake? When you get an injury to one of our centre backs and you've got Endo playing at centre back in a Champions League quarter final, you will say to me, Gene, you know what, you are right. And
But
believe
you're not
me,
worried
every
about
single
Champions
thing
League
I said
anyways.
is
You're
just
worried about
how
top
it's
five.
gonna play
You're
out.
talking
That's
about ifs and
exactly what
buts.
it's played out.
You,
You're
all
taking a
talk-
massive risk. It's a
all Gene has
gamble.
talked about today has been
No,
ifs and buts.
I think
You just talked about ifs and buts, Gene.
no, you're not. You've been talking about Man United's bounce is going to finish. Villa's bounce, their tatties come out even though they're 5-6 points
There you go.
but ahead of us. So you've been talking about hypotheticals as well, bro.
Yeah, but yeah, he's
What?
been defeated
You
from
know?
day one. He's been defeated
Exactly.
from day one.
I've been negative this season. I have. You know why? Because I said to you, come January, where this Liverpool Football Club will be, and where are they sat today, bro? Say to me, I didn't say this in January. When you were saying to me, Gene, ball January, I'm talking in it's February now, bro. We're sat in 6th. So say to me, I was right, because I was right. So please,
Right for
Ramenal.
what?
I was
Right for
right when
what?
I said, get to January, you'll see this football club out of the Champions League places. And where are we sat today? Outside
By
the
a
Champions
point.
League.
By a
So
point.
Ramenal.
By a point.
Yeah,
come on.
by a point or two, yeah.
By a point.
You're 4.
Jake,
Clear.
By a point.
Ramenal.
I feel like you want to come in,
Shanti,
Jake.
Shanti.
I want
When
Gene
you come to me,
to
like,
harness
I'm
this
gonna come to you.
energy and move it away from Michael
Yeah,
Hughes and on to the manager. That's all he needs to do because the energy is correct. Everything he's saying is correct. It just needs to be channeled in the right direction. The manager deserves, like I said on the show the other day, 90% of the blame.
Jake, I've gone for the
90%.
manager. I've blasted the manager.
I know you
I
have.
wanted him out in November. I said this is how it's. I said he's not good enough because of the players that we had back then. And what happened? This is exactly how it played out. But I can't. What can we do right now? If we're honest, we can't do anything. We have to back the manager to an extent because we love the football club and we don't have a choice. And that's what we have to do. There's no, even though Alonso's available, they're not going to sack him. So you have to try to back the manager as much as you can because end of the day, Jake, we don't want bloody to miss out on top 4. If I was sat in 3rd position right now, yeah, it's a bit different. But we're not. We're sat in 6th.
You know the ownership. Let's be honest. Oh God, guy's back as well. I told you he's learned now to open doors. I need to get the lock on this office, but you know this ownership, Jake. They've been saved. They've been saved. They've been saved. The arses have been saved by one man over the years. They've done great things for the club, no doubt. I'm not denying that. But Jurgen Klopp made that model work. Honestly, anybody else, no chance. But now he's gone. They need to recognize that anyone who comes through that door, they need more help.
Have they adjusted their model or not?
Sorry?
Have they adjusted their model or not?
They've adjusted their model in terms of where we are. We're not obviously in a financial position where we were in Jurgen Klopp, when Jurgen Klopp was. Last year, we could spend as champions, 100%. But that model for me is still bit us in the arse because look how many sales we did. Look at we sold 250 million pounds, and this you spent 450 million pounds, but you didn't add quality or depth onto the bench. And to really win, and especially without Jurgen Klopp, to really win a title consistently, because this is what we should, as champions, be demanding by going for the second, going for the third. Because I feel like it's a lack of mentality upstairs as well, where you're sitting, and the transition was always going to come because there was bad planning and all that sort of stuff. There was a vacuum. There was a vacuum of. I acknowledge those points. There was a vacuum upstairs as well. And it's gonna take 2-3 years to sort out the problems. 100%, I understand that, but you have to understand that the ownership should have recognized that. And if it meant keeping someone like a 28-year-old Diaz, if you're not gonna replace him directly, then that's on the ownership. It's on the ownership. So, and look where the league was. You know, if Arsenal can do it, why can't we? If City can do it, why can't we? We're champions of England. So if you want to be treated as champions and act like champions as well, in terms of depth of squad, Wirtz and Isak, we have to understand when you can't just say we bought Isak. We have to add the context to the situation as well. We bought Isak who didn't kick a ball, who was chilling on the beach in Spain for 3 months, wanted to come to Liverpool.
But you can't.
So we had to acknowledge that. We had to cater for that.
But you can't have everything, like you said, in one window. If you want to go ahead and have squad,
and that's why you keep Diaz then.
But you know how the club operates, and I'm not defending the club as far as
Diaz was not going to get a contract. Operate. He was not going to get that contract at 28, 29.
Well, let him run it out then. Let him run it out. If we won the championship,
but then you guys complain about losing people on the free every time.
No. He was going to get that
money. No. I would have been all right with that. I would have been all right because he's 30 years old. Losing Kanate, losing Trent, it hurts more because they're in the prime of their careers. Losing Diaz at the age of 30 wouldn't have hurt me.
But we were all going to, as soon as Bayern came up with the cash, we were always going to sell. We weren't going to offer him 250 a week that he's getting Bayern Munich. We were never going to offer him that.
Look,
the negligence was that he didn't get replaced.
The point is this transition is going to take more than one window.
That's fine. I get that. I accept that. I genuinely accept that the transition that Liverpool Football Club are going to go through in terms of Van Dijk, the Salahs were going to obviously go. The club had to start thinking of other ways. They bought in Isak. They bought in Wirtz, who were probably going to take his, Isak was going to take over his goal output, and because Trent's creativity was going to, hopefully Wirtz was going to be the one that's going to be the creative spark in the team. Fine. I have no issue with that. And that is the right way of doing things. But my issue right now is, Ben, with you, the champions of England, then if you're going through a season of transition, that doesn't mean you sit in 6th. Your season of transition has to get you minimum top 4. Whereas City last season they were I think they went through stupid games where they couldn't win a game for a long time. But yes, they went into the market, they spent, and yeah, they might not have done well this season. But when Marmoush came, he did improve him a little bit last season. This season he hasn't been great, if we're all totally honest. But they solidified their Champions League. They went again, and yeah, look, they're challenging again. That's fine. My issue is we're sat in. You go through a transition.
But that's a perfect example.
First to sixth. Your transition.
You bring up a great point. You guys, and I'm not again. I agree with you in the sense of there are players to buy. I'm not sitting here saying there are no players to buy. People ask, who would you have signed? It's not my job to scour all of Europe and find out which players are available to be bought. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is you brought up the Marmoush example. It's a great example. I don't know how much he cost, 70, 75 million pounds, whatever the case was. He came in, he did well for the second half of last season. They end up finishing in Champions League qualification places. Now you fast forward 6, 7, 8, 9 months later, and he doesn't even kick a ball there. I haven't even heard his name in the last 6 months. So is it worth spending 30, 40, 50 million pounds with the risk that happens? The club doesn't do that. The club is looking for surefire signings. And it goes to what you're saying. It makes finding those types of signings very, very challenging as supporters, myself included. Again, I'm not defending the club. It's frustrating. I've been there. But after the summer that we've had, I feel they've done enough.
Yes, in the summer, for me, they did enough. We sat here lauding them, Jake. Well, if we're honest, every single one of us, bar Asim, who gave it probably 7.5 because he said because we missed out on Gay last minute, we were all in the cloud 9 thinking, because of the Isak signing, we forgot about the centre back, if we're honest right now. But because it fell through last minute, Asim said, look, it's not as good as you guys making out, but you accepted it because we were buzzing. Fine. We gave them so many flowers, Jake. But if you're going from first and now you're sat in 6th, that is an issue.
Of course, it's a problem. I'm not saying saying we're playing good football. I'm telling you the problem's the manager.
Try to do something to try to make it slightly better. That is my thing. Jake, we could be sat here in 5 months' time. Look, can we win the Champions League? Look,
yes.
We give Liverpool a chance to go win the Champions League. Of course we do. But is it realistic? If I'm honest with you, in terms of do we really believe it can happen this season? If we're honest with ourselves, I'll be honest. No,
I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm just posing the question: is it possible the club doesn't know who the manager is going to be next season, and that's impacting whether they do business this window or not?
Maybe that might be a case.
It could be, but also with Jeremy Jacquet coming now, if we didn't sign anybody, Jake, then I'd probably agree with that. But don't you think Jeremy Jacquet asked the question?
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the first thought that came to my mind. But maybe they said this guy's just so good, we got to get this guy over the line no matter what. I don't know.
Well, going by what the Ren president or whoever said, he's going to play for a team that's in the Champions League next season. So let's see. He's confident that he's going to make it.
Who said that? The chairman or Jacquet?
The chairman or one of the president. I don't know who it was. He said something about the Jacquet deal, saying, "Look, this was the best deal that we could get. It was, we got decent money for him. He gets to play for us till the end of the season as well, and then he'll move on to a team that's in the Champions League." They were his. I think they were his words. So look, I don't want to come. I didn't want to come here, Jake, right, and make it out like this is a big issue with the. I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy because I'm worried. And what I'm worried about is if Liverpool miss out on the Champions League. That is my big. And if we miss out on that Champions League, the effect that can have on this football club financially, you're allowing the likes of Manchester United go above you to get into the Champions League. We know what they're on a bit of a run. They've got 3-3. Chelsea are on a bit of a run. They're on is it 5-6? And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a battle. And you need all the tools right now. We're struggling for players as it is. Yeah, well, we don't even have a fucking squad at this time. We've got Nyonis and so many others that are in this squad on our bench. You saw the bench of the last game or the game before. You all saw the bench. Isn't that scary? Of course it's scary. The only players that are going to really come back in this time that are injured, who are really going to come back? Frimpong. Who's actually going to come back? Isak is April time, going by what the thing is. So Uski Pulijo, he ain't coming back till April. So who's actually left to come back in his side? Because all the others have got long-term injuries.
But the scary thing is there's only 3 injuries.
Because they're all long-term though, Asim.
But regardless, Arsenal have had so many long-term injuries this season. But nobody's talking about their injuries.
Yeah, Arsenal been spending
got
how many
Chiesa, your
hundreds
squad
of
player.
millions of pounds
You
for
very-
9 years.
Rate him.
Huh?
You've got Chiesa.
Are you talking to me, are we? Have we lost
Hello?
him? He's gone.
I'm here.
What are you saying? We lost you. We just we just need to go through
Who?
a few supers.
Avi,
Gene, run
come
through the
out.
supers. please.
You're coming in and out.
Avi, Gene, run through the supers, please.
Super
Can you hear me or
chats,
not?
mate. You're coming in and out. You think he's late. Alonso linked with City. Urged slow play early versus Newcastle, but players went direct themselves. Not tactics. Individual brilliance. Slot out. I don't know if that was down to the players who went direct. If I'm honest with you, that would have been Slot telling him to do something. I don't want to take away, credit where the credit's due to the manager. End of the day, it did feel like a bit like we're going back to where we played fast football. It was up and down. It was slightly of a bit of a basketball game. I don't want to take credit away from the actual manager with the Newcastle game. If I'm honest with you. Next one, Emmy, big up. Thank you very much for your super chat. SWAT isn't the problem. The coaches. Look, Emmy, in terms of the coach, we've had issues for a while. 100. Everybody here have said they wanted to slow out at some point. If we're honest, everybody said we wanted to slow out at some point. But do it down. We all know that he's probably the manager now, so we have to stick with it. There's no going round circles. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Let's be honest. He's going to stay, and we just have to. It is what it is. Next one, you man's always complaining. Avi, why are you running FSG propaganda with the same vim anymore? Hughes and Co will complete squad building preparations in their time. Hughes and Co, top professionals. Avi, you can take that.
Look, selection's obviously same as me. He's a businessman and he's a corporate man. So look, he feels that where we are at the moment, similar to Jake, look, it's going to be a transition. It was never going to be easy post Klopp. We were going to go through a few windows until we get it right, and we are still relatively new to the squad building. We did a huge spend in the summer. Yes, key players went out as well, like Asim's mentioned. Replacing Trent, replacing Diaz isn't easy. Even replacing Nunes, and the unfortunate situation with Jota as well.
Replacing Diaz isn't easy because we do fuck all about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
It can be done. It can be done. But we didn't try.
You do feel that you do feel that position will be definitely addressed in the summer. We will address that position and positions, because Salah, it's bye-bye to Salah as well in the summer.
Okay, next to which Mohsin Khan, big up, thank you very much. Arsenal signed 2 centre-backs in the summer for 60 million. There are always players available. No one can tell me Mosquera and Hincapi weren't good at 4th or 5th choice. Asim?
100%. 100%. Have you seen Mosquera come in? Mosquera was about 14-15 million pounds.
18 million, I think he was.
Huh?
No. He was quite expensive from Valencia. He was
How much?
expensive.
14 million. 14 or 18 million he cost.
14 or 18, and that's not expensive.
The Valencia one.
Yeah. That wasn't expensive.
It was cheap. It was a cheap deal. I remember seeing it.
It was a 14 or 18. Whatever it was, for me, in today's market, that's bargain. Have you seen him play? 15 million. We'll go with 15. Hincapié, brilliant. Can play in a 4, can play in a 5, can play in the left-sided centre-back, can play at left-back. You're telling me we couldn't have targeted someone like him? They got Hincapié after getting someone like Calafiori.
And they've got Lewis Kelly.
Exactly. Like, I appreciate we've got a higher wage bill, but the thing is, we've seen this story before. That's what my annoyance is. No, wait. We wrote too many seasons.
6 years to build this team. Arsenal have had 6 years to build this team.
Yeah, but When we won the league, give me those
We're in a
3-4
new
players.
phase. We're in a new phase. We're in a new
When we
phase.
won the league before last time, we wrote too many seasons off, and this is where I disagree with Jake. We even when Klopp needed, we all knew Fabinho, Milner, Keita, Ox. All
I
these guys
never
are-
defended those
Asim,
transfer windows. I
when we
never
won the
once
league,
defended
let me
those
land. Let me
windows.
land. Let me land a
No,
little bit. When we won the
this
league
is
in
the reason
2020,
why we were crying out for a replacement in Gini Wijnaldum for years. But
Asim,
we
when we
were given the narrative of Harvey Elliott is going to replace him. Gini Wijnaldum, a completely different profile of player who plays 60 games a season, who never gets
correct.
injured. We've seen this story too many times before, and we can't
Asim,
just
when
say
we
you need to accept it because this is the way we run.
That's not what I said.
Yeah,
That's
you
not what I
did.
said. No,
You
I did
did.
not.
Jake,
You
one
are.
minute.
not
That's
what I
what you're
said.
saying,
Yeah,
Jake.
we go.
One minute.
That's
one
what
minute.
you're saying, Jake, because
One
we're
minute.
Liverpool Football Club and we're run by FSG, so accept it. No,
That's
we're not
not
going
what
to accept
that's
it.
that's not what I
This is
said.
a platform.
I will.
This is a platform of ours, and we
I'll-
have to be vocal about
that's
it.
not what
We
I
can't
said.
just sit back and say, why are you guys having to go at them?
That's not what I said. Go ahead, Avi, and then I'll repeat what I said.
But if you didn't say that, Jake, then wallahi, I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, I'll
It
tell
don't
you what I
make
said
sense,
in a
bro.
second. Go ahead, Avi.
Like, you're just blowing hot air for no reason. Wait, you,
No,
Asim,
it's
yeah,
not.
exactly. There's nothing that Ribena. Don't try sipping it now.
There's a little
Listen,
sip. Can you see it?
2020, in the 2020 transfer window, when you won the league, we brought in
That's
Diego
Liverpool's
Jota.
bank account right now.
We brought Diogo Jota. And we brought Thiago Alcantara. Yeah, we
Oh,
brought
big
the
up my
squad. We
brother,
brought
man.
two
Big up my
world-class
brother.
additions. We brought two world-class additions in Jota and Thiago Alcantara. We brought the right adjustments. It's not our fault that Thiago gets his leg busted up against Everton, or Van Dijk gets his leg snapped in half by Pickford, or Matip pulls up with an ACL, and Gomez in England international duty gets his knee patella tendon done in that 2020 season. We were buying the players, one or two adjustments like Fergie was doing. We brought in Diogo Jota and Thiago Alcantara. There is a rebuild. We do the rebuild, but unfortunately, this summer gone. Trent wanted out. Diaz wanted a bigger payday. Nunes was gonna go because he wasn't firing goals for the price tag that we paid. So there was always going to be one big overhaul summer. We didn't do enough of it, but we are going to address that. We've addressed it with Jacquet, and we'll address it again in the summer with 3-4 additions.
What I said.
Okay.
To take a step back. First of all, last summer is the only window in the history that I've been on this show, or even as a fan of this club, where I've defended the business that we've done. So let's not go back and pretend as if the summers where we do fuck all for business, that I'm sitting here defending upper management. That's not the case. This is the first window. When I say this one, I mean last summer, where I'm defending them. What I'm saying is, by spending 450 million, getting Florian Wirtz for 110, getting Alexander Isak for 135, that alone is amazing business. But when you add that on top of Kirkes, Frimpong, Leone, all of the business that we did, if we're still left short, which okay, I'll admit we are left short. I can't sit here and say, well, I want more. It's going to take time, like we talked about, to fully revamp the squad. It's not going to be done overnight. You use Arsenal as an example. Arsenal is a great example. However, this is probably the first season since Arteta's been there where their fans aren't crying about a lack of squad depth. Because in every other title race they've been in, what are they crying about? Injuries and lack of squad depth. So this is the first time that they're not complaining about it. So the point that I'm making is, after spending 450 million, yes, we might be short a center back or a right back or whatever you want to add to the squad. But in the grand scheme of things, they've done more than enough to back the squad and put the squad in a position to perform. Now the manager has the goods.
So
go and do your job, manager.
So you're thinking, you're telling me they've done more than enough, yeah? Fifth choice is Federico Chiesa with the manager, which the manager doesn't trust, and the sixth choice was
because it can't be all done in one summer. That's what I'm saying.
For a 16-year-old, you think that's true?
It can't be done in one summer.
Nobody is saying that.
That's
Well,
fine.
yes, that's what you're telling me. You're telling me you want to have options over across the whole board.
No, what we're saying is, if you're going to spend 450 million, if you can't
let's
do it
talk
in one,
about that. So you rather
no.
So you'd
Who
rather
said
not
that?
have Florian Wirtz. You'd rather not have
No.
Alexander Isak. You'd rather have 40 million pound players in a 10 and
No.
as your 9. Get
Nobody
rid of
said
those two
that.
guys and have squad depth. I'll
No-
tell you
nobody-
right now,
nobody
that's a
said that.
dumbass idea.
Nobody said that.
That's what
Nobody
you just
said that.
told me.
No, you know, now you're just getting heated.
Because
I'm
that's-
telling
because
you,
I was waiting for somebody to tell me that because that's ridiculous.
who didn't celebrate the signings of Wirtz and Isak?
That's not what you're saying right now. You're saying you'd rather have squad depth and you would rather
No,
reallocate the
no,
450 million
no.
in a different way.
I'm
That's
saying
what
we
you
can,
just said.
I'm saying we can still have Wirtz and Isak and have squad depth.
How?
What do you mean how? Why? Why not?
You're gonna spend £1 billion in one summer?
No, because we didn't. You probably say I keep talking about Diaz, but do you blame me? He was here last season. Why can't we say we weren't prepared to pay 250 million pounds, but we had him on a 2-year contract. But the reason why we sold him is because we got 65 million pounds bet, and we were doing cartwheels over a 28-year-old because of the model tells us that if you get a bid of 65 million pounds for a 28-year-old, you press yes. Simple as.
Exactly. And I sat on this show when we sold Luis Diaz, and I told you guys are going to rue the day for selling Luis Diaz because you guys don't appreciate him, and his production is way harder to replace than what you guys thought. And now you guys are realizing it.
No, you look, every player when Diaz wasn't doing what we wanted him to do, you know, we were mainly when you were talking about Luis Diaz is the ability to go on the outside. We haven't had that player for a while since Mane. But in terms of I always said, you can't tell me that you didn't rate Diaz, because I always said when I'm picking my team, I'm picking Diaz over Gakpo. You know what?
That wasn't directed right at you, but there are plenty of people, not only here, but Liverpool supporters that hate on Luis Diaz.
I will be honest, Jake. I will be honest. If you are going to get rid of Luis Diaz, the season before last season, I went to town on Cody Gakpo. I went to town on Luis Diaz, both of them, because their output was fucking dreadful. And for a winger, your output has to be a lot better if you're going to go and win a title or challenge for a title. Fair play to both of them. Last season, both of them put up decent numbers, which was fine. So we accepted that, you know what, the numbers that these guys put up last season, we all accept, and it was good. And when Diaz played in the 9 at times as well, because Gakpo was playing well, it worked. The system and everything worked. The thing that I had so my issues with Cody Gakpo and Luis Diaz mainly because Luis Diaz was the one I wanted to work more on that left-hand side was him. When you don't have output and the guys ain't doing output, then go replace them with players that have got output, but they did decent that year. So fine. If you're going to get rid of Luis Diaz, I was happy. I'm not going to sit here and defend and go at the owners. I was happy and I accepted. You know what? If the club have got rid of Luis Diaz for the sake of bringing in Florian Wirtz in that 10, I can accept that because that's future planning and I'm okay with it. You've just signed a star that I've always wanted and I'm happy with that signing. If Cody Gakpo can play there for a season, I was ready to make that sacrifice. But if you're sat, and I go back to the same thing, Jake, the issues are there to be seen. You're sat in 6th. I'm worried about not making top 4. My biggest gripe with the management, Jake, isn't what they did last summer. Because yes, they gave us a window that we will remember. Especially for somebody like me who wanted bloody Florian Wirtz more than anything. I wanted Alexander Isak. They sorted out positions. They bought in good wingers. I wanted Kirkers, or he was my number 1 left back. If I had to choose a left back, I wanted him. Do you understand? So when they've done that, I accept. But when you fast forward to now and you look at this and you think, okay, if we sit here now and are happy and can say, let's laud what they did in the summer. Nah, because we're sat in 6th. I feel as though we need more signings to get us going again and give us a bit of help. That's all I ask for, one player. Give us, whether it's a winger or more importantly, a player in the defensive line, because we needed a player now in the defensive line. And that is my honest, I needed a centre-back that can play maybe out wide as well this winter, and we didn't get it. And again, you mentioned it, one injury, and you're going to be worried, and that's exactly where I'm at.
The thing is, Jake, I think you underestimate the fact that if you get a good player, and he's the right player, of course, the effect that he can have. on a team and a club and a fan base as a whole. I think when Diaz came from Porto in January, he was brilliant. He ignited that intensity in our team. Honesty and fair play to Avi, who called him and scouted him for years. I wanted him and said that Liverpool, look, and if I don't say these things, you're going to whack me after the show. But joking aside, I think you underestimate the fact that we're not asking for another million, half a billion pounds, Jake. And I just think you're in. Go on.
You're right. You bring in a guy like Luis Diaz, come in here, absolutely can make an impact. Number one, making that signing, and I'm not saying that it can't happen, but it's difficult to make that signing in January for that person to come in and have that type of impact. That's not easy to find. That's hard to find. Let's just make that point clear right away. But the point is, it's not so much about the player. I believe players make a difference. The problem that I have is this is how little faith I have in the manager.
So is that your argument then? There's no point bringing players in.
It's a lack of faith that the manager is going to be able to make it work with whatever tools you give him. That's what I'm trying to say.
Avi, do you agree with that? What just Jake said, that don't bring any players in because it doesn't matter if you bring Ronaldo, peak Messi, that this manager just simply can't do.
That's not what I said, but all right.
You get my point.
No, look, Arsenal. You'll hear Arsenal fans on their forums and channels complaining that they wanted a left winger. That Martinelli isn't good enough. That Trossard is, past it as well. But Trossard has chipped in with some goals, but Martinelli isn't doing it for him. Every club in the top 4, top 5 will complain about getting that extra player and extra 2 players. They should have done more in January. Look at United; they should have been doing more as well. And look, we will always watch, even in the summer, when we have a fantastic summer, which I believe it'll be a summer of chaos again in the summer. We will feel, I promise you, all 4 of us, and with Ben and whoever the other content creators are, we'll feel that we should have done one more. Only if we had one more. That is just the norm. Every top club will complain they haven't done enough. You look at Chelsea fans; they're complaining. I saw Matisse yesterday on his own channel saying that Chelsea have been they've neglected the transfer window. Forget about Jacquet; they wanted 2-3 players in. City got Semenyo and Gueye, and they're still complaining that they haven't got they're a defender short or a midfielder short. United didn't do any business, and they're complaining that we should have done business in January. That's just the norm. That's what I'm saying. That's the norm. Yes, we should have got a defender in Asim and Sheen. I agree with that. But I'm happy that there's some kind of succession planning going on by buying one of the best young defenders in world football in Jeremy Jacquet. I'm not going to complain. With this team, where we are right now, we should still be making top 4. Not top 5, top 4.
I think we've obviously the squad is thin, but I think we've been quite lucky in the sense where we've got the players like Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones, and Gravenberch, who are, we're looking to get specialists like number 6. We need a specialist DM and all that sort of stuff. But because of their versatility, I think we got away with it. Just look at the last game, how brilliant Szoboszlai was in right back positions. I think if we didn't have that versatility, we've been screwed. We would have been screwed, honestly. But I don't know, man. I guess the counter argument is like versatility of these players, them being technicians and adaptable in various positions is a strength, and this is the reason why you buy him, which I get. So,
and I say more than anything, there's a few individuals in that first 11 now that need to up the ante a little bit as well. Yeah, there's all good and well saying that we needed a defender in this and that, but majority of that first 11 they need to up the ante in the last 14 games. They need to kick up their ass because if they don't, they're out the window. And there's probably every single individual in that team.
Yeah, 100%. I think we can all agree on that. Liverpool shouldn't be where they are, and that's what the frustration is, and that's why we're here tonight debating it. I think that's that every single fan base, every single Liverpool fan in the fan base is there's a consensus, isn't there, that these guys are not performing. But obviously, when you start looking digging it deeper, there's other reasons as well, and we've discussed them in the last couple of months. But I think we were going to discuss in detail what Jeremy Jacquet is going to provide, because Gene's spent all day. We'll spend about 10 minutes on our new signing. Gene, you've been watching him. I know you've been watching. I know. 5 minutes.
We can do that. Me and Gene can do it tomorrow on that show.
Okay, we'll go through.
Because Gene, I'll be home. Gene, I'll be home, and I can decide whether he's left or right.
By the way, oh, we lost Jake. By the way, Jay, I wasn't ask you last show. Jay mentioned I've got him on block on Twitter. I'm not a blocker. So unless you like really abusive and this and that. So I'm surprised, and I'm sure you're not being abusive. So just send me your Twitter handle. I'll quickly take a picture of it and I'll unblock you. So I do apologize for that. I can remember you
How can
mentioned
you
it.
block? How can you block JJJV Shankar, yaar? Come on.
No, apparently I've done it. It's been for a long time. So maybe he wasn't the chat then. So I apologize.
You heard that song though?
Telling
JJJV Shankar.
me you're running low on time and then you're just acting like a clown as per. Anyway, SKLFC, thank you so much for sending this.
Who's this? Give me your Twitter handle. I'll unblock you.
Avi, how many people have you guys got on block, bro? Man,
I
such
don't-
a
I don't-
video.
I don't
blocked
even
out
know.
I'm not a blocker. I'm
I
not a
don't-
blocker. Honestly,
don't-
I'm surprised I've got a J on block.
I only block if you get personal. If you don't get personal, you call me fat, call me whatever, CUNT, call me whatever you want, but don't get personal. Don't start
Anyway,
going to families and this and that.
No, Avi's right on that.
It's like
Avi's
Total
right.
Clips. Total Clips goes for me. Nangi Hosi.
Oh, Amir ko Chin has blocked me. Haan ji, Chin. we got everyone on block.
never. I haven't blocked him.
Okay, let me read this super chat.
I got blocked.
Whoever I've got on block,
I've got 3 people on block.
Avi's been one of them. Saw a video on Jeremy Jacquet playing central centre back 3 and steps into midfield in build up. Could he be an option as a 6? Although roles are slightly different.
Asim. Asim.
Teek say, can you actually block me, please? Appreciate it. Go on, Avi.
Jeremy Jacquet, he's going to be Marcel Desailly. Well, Marcel Desailly was at Milan, Marseille, and Chelsea. That's what Jeremy Jacquet can be. Desailly also played in a deep midfielding role as well in his heyday as well in the 6. I don't think Jeremy Jacquet will be that, but he's the closest thing for me to a Marcel Desailly, and I loved Marcel Desailly, and he was right-footed as well.
Avi, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've watched at least 20 compilations of this guy today.
Wow.
And I'm not gonna lie, the
Wow.
guy has impressed me, man. Like every video I saw him on, he really impressed me. He's got everything. And I look, you guys wanted Jacquet. I'm sold on him. And let's hope and pray that this guy becomes an unbelievable what do you call it? A centre back. And when I saw this graph, Asim, that you've put up, Qasem, it made me really happy that when I saw them 2 at the top, I thought, you know what, this is what you call really future planning. You got 2 young centre backs that are gonna be both, inshallah, be unbelievable centre backs. And obviously, my Leone is number 1 on there. Yeah, my Leone.
Asim, and just to let you know, obviously we know the interest of Dean Huijsen. Kubasi, that was never going to happen. He's a Messiah boy. Also he's at PSV now, and we played him in the Champions League. We liked number 5 as well. Yeah, Gasuravsky. We liked him.
I think we've been linked with him
when he was with Mosquera. He didn't get the opportunities that Mosquera did at Valencia.
Yeah, number 11 is a Chelsea defender,
He's
isn't
had
he?
a good season at PSV.
Number 11 is a
so,
Chelsea
but,
defender who's just been called back, hasn't he? Yeah.
I asked him, look at the difference in terms of percentage, though. You got our 2, and then the rest.
What I would say about that aerial duel or duels percentage of Jacquet, I've not seen anything of Palmer or what sort of system Leone used to play in. Is he plays in a back 3 system. So I dug a bit deeper into that, and I think he wins around about 3 aerial duels a game, which I think he'll need to face more in the back 4. So I think that is one, but it's a great foundation to have. It's a great foundation, and if you're averaging around that percentage, you're probably going to go dip a bit lower in the Premier League because there's bigger lads and it's a more physical league and there's better players, but it's still a great foundation. I think the data nerds love that, Gene. Love that, especially when you're looking at a defensive line of Ibu and a Verge, who always average around 69 to 72, 73% in aerial duels. So if you're anywhere near that, despite being in a weaker league, then I think it's a great stepping stone to, so a springboard, sorry, to start with. And in terms of the build up, I'm not, to watch someone's qualities, I think you need to watch a game in terms of build up, because whenever you watch comps, you don't get that. Where they don't show you the build up. I want to see Jacquet, and maybe in the next 2-3 months, I will see Jacquet in a proper game. But if he tells me, or if I see him playing in central centre back position in a back three, and all the comps that I've seen of him in the last couple of days, then I see there's no angle bias in passing. And if you're playing as a central centre back in a back three, that tells me you're generally the best passer out of the two as well. So, but I see a guy who can play right-sided and left-sided. I think he's so comfortable in playing both positions. But although I don't think he can be like a Schlotterbeck, but I think he can be the stabilizer in the defensive line. And one stat that sort of really impressed me is he's got a 73% success rate in terms of passes into the final third. And for a possession-based team, although their possession is never really over the average of a 50%, Liverpool's average will be more. But that stat is really impressive.
Asim, he's a big carrier of the ball.
Look. When people talk, just listen. You'll find it insightful. So 73% in a possession-based team, and just to let you know, Verge is 76% accurate passing into the final third. That is, again, very, very encouraging for me.
Oh, yeah, I've seen 5 minutes of him. I can tell you straight up now, he's a big carrier of the ball. Big carrier of the ball.
We're not talking about carrying. We're talking about passing here. But this is the problem. You don't listen.
He's passing, and he's a big carrier of the ball as well. He can
As
take care of trouble.
he's a yard carrier.
Not like he's a yard carrier. He's a yard carrier. He's a yard carrier. He is.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Everything I saw of him today, man, I wanted that centre back signed up, man. I'm glad. Obviously, he came because the guy's got. And you know what I loved about him more than anything, Asim, is his on the ground duels, bro. He gets into a tackle, mate. I've told you and I've said it many a times. I am sick to death of Goody Two Shoes. He's got that thing about him that he's that great. I'm gonna go and win this ball. And he in terms of his reading, it was pretty good, So look, honestly, brilliant. I'm happy that we got him over the line. And yeah, let's see, inshallah, let's see where this takes us.
Yeah, I agree with what Selection is saying. Because he's not a Van Dijk in terms of he whips the ball into midfield. Whenever you've seen his final third passes, whether it's from the right, it's a 60-yard pass. But it's impressive. And we've lacked that this season. We really have, especially at right back. It's not a coincidence why Liverpool looked a better side in terms of in the transition, is because we had a proper guy who can play a 60-yard ball in all directions, especially in the channel, where Ekitike was sitting on the left side as centre back and on the right side as centre back as well if the ball came the other way. But he made that run, and he's just a lot quicker than you. Even if you follow him, you're not gonna catch him. And if the right side is centre back, if Ekitike is making that run from the left, even if you go and he stays and the left side is centre back follows you, he's got 2 yards on you, and you're not going to catch him even even from a standing position. So a right back has a lot of qualities for Liverpool to be taken advantage of. But if you've got a centre back who's got that sort of quality of whip, then I think Liverpool will do. Look, he's only 20. There's a lot of development, and hopefully he grows a few inches as well. I don't know if he can still grow at the age of 20. Look, you guys will probably know better, but he's a big lad already. But at the age of 20, he'll fill out a bit. He probably gets maybe an inch. I don't know, and that'll be better. But whenever I've seen the comps, and I saw a lot today, Cheen, is he only goes to ground when he really, really needs to. And a lot of those recovery tackles for me, Gene, is they have been, on the halfway line. And that's encouraging as well. Because there are some centre-backs, Gene, where whenever they face a bit of space, they just back off, and defend the box. But with him, whenever I've seen him in comps, he's not afraid to make that recovery tackle in midfield. And in transition, in transition, as we've seen with Kanate and Verge, especially with Kanate, because he does make that tackle. Verge defends you in a different way. He can make that tackle. And I'm not saying, look, he's the same player. Whenever he makes that tackle, and maybe the reason why people have wanted him in midfield or think he can play in midfield, when I see him, he looks like, and maybe it's the long legs, and I mentioned this player over the last couple of weeks, is I see some traits of like Onana making that, tackle when he's on his ass, long legs. I'm not saying he's a Onana because he's not a DM, just when he makes that tackle. But for me, that is a really important trait if you're going to play in a possession-based team, because I think he's got every quality. But I will, over the next week or so, want to watch him in a proper game, because especially with centre-backs, you need to see their awareness, their positioning, all that sort of stuff in a proper game. Because whether you're watching Jeremy Jacquet or whether you're watching bloody Anthony, who went to United, a comp will tell you that he's a really good player. But let's see what happens over the next 3-4 years and how he develops. But it'll be interesting to see how Liverpool see him. Do they see him as a direct replacement if Kanate leaves in the summer, or do they see him, as Avi says, the replacement for Van Dijk? So it'll be interesting to see.
A question.
Okay.
A question for Avi. Do you not think that he is? I believe he's a Kanate replacement.
Okay.
In terms of where he's gonna play, because
that may well be this. That may well be the case, Gene. But long term, he's going to be the mainstay in our heart of defense. He's going to be the leader of that defense, like Van Dijk is, like the Van Dijk with the aura, and he's got Konate alongside him. Jeremy Jacquet will be the Van Dijk in our defense. He'll be at the heart of it, at the brunt of it, and he will have that absolute aura. And he's got, like someone's mentioned, I think Ben Bozak found a stat that he was a captain in all levels of the under 16s to the under 20s. There's definitely captain material in there, and he's definitely a leader. I've seen, even in the clips that we've seen for Ren, he's very vocal. One thing that is in his favor, he's very, very vocal, and he's 19, guys.
I'm with Gene, and this is the reason why I tweeted today that I think Nico Schlotterbeck adds a lot of balance to that back line. You can still be a leader in the back line, and Konate is a leader for me in different ways. I think as a partnership, that is really, really mouth-watering. Jeremy Jacquet, who's comfortable either side, I just said it in my little monologue, but he can cover space. The governance of space he can get. And the way and I think I read another stat where I wrote it down, but I don't think I wrote it down in these notes, but is interceptions and tackles on wingers is very, very high. And that tells me that where you can go out wide and handle those wingers in 1v1 situations, if your fullbacks are higher, then that is encouraging as well. But in terms of profile, I think that would be a brilliant partnership. You guys, front foot defending. This is what Jeremy Jacquet does. Front foot defending, jumping on the striker, jumping into midfield, strong in the tackle, physicality. But in terms of profile, I think you want someone like Nico Schlotterbeck. You've got the calmness, you've got the passing into midfield, you've got the ping from there, the switch from there, the Van Dijk role. I think then you've got the calmer, the stabilizer, the progressor, and then, as selection says, the aggressor who can pass the ball as well in his own right. I think that is a brilliant partnership. Okay, shall we call it up? Sorry.
One more question.
Okay.
Is it chutti for Konate now? Because this guy...
Don't ask me that question.
I asked you the question.
I've said to you after November I gave up on him.
You said yesterday you're signing a new contract.
I hope that's the case. Exactly. There's hope and belief. There's hope and belief.
We don't know what side of the bed you got up this morning. Is he tomorrow he'll be fucking staying?
Super, Gene.
There's hope and belief.
Oh, apparently your boys made in super chat. Not super boys.
YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, by the way. So I'll be talking to Milos and his father after the show for sure.
Why not a fan?
I don't like these footballers making YouTube channels at the age of 22, 23. Like, come on. Let's focus on your first career, which is football.
Okay, fair enough. Jake, did you put your Twitter handle in the comments? Please put it in again, and I'll quickly take a picture.
I've got Jay's thing, man. I'll tweet it if it's that much of. If he's all the ugly gear, I'll give it to you. I'll give you his handle. Don't worry, and add him back in. Fucking Jay, come on, yaar, grow up. Send your Twitter block. Go on, carry on.
Why you so triggered, man?
Well, yaar, what is if you block someone this and that? Obviously, Jay has blocked you for some reason. You know what I mean? You're probably running your mouth. Chup ho, na? Chalo, carry on.
Oh my god!
I do have two.
I'm waiting for Jay to put it on because I feel bad. I feel bad.
I do have two pieces of information, Asim.
Okay, whilst we're waiting for Jay to put it on.
Yeah.
Actually, wait. Stay there, because we'll just do this. Ikram was saying, bloody hell, is Muzzy in the chat. With Jeremy Jacquet signing, does this mean the end for Slot, Angie?
Asim, what did I tell you though about Slot? The next press conference. What would we telling?
Yes, we'll be telling. Yes. So, what's the information?
Oh, look, I think everyone knows I'm a big fan of the little midfielder. I think you two are now big fans of him. Ayub Buadi. Asim, we've definitely scouted the player. We've definitely watched him in recent months perform for Lille. That's definitely one to watch out for in the summer. I may have some if Wharton doesn't happen in the summer. I do feel that we like this Brazilian Breno Biden, under 20 Brazilian
So didn't someone mention him in the chat?
Yeah, I tweeted.
Did you tweet it? Yeah.
Breno Biden. If we don't get Wharton, they're a bit different in terms of stylistically. But if we don't get Wharton, not that I know of any conclusive news about Wharton, but if we don't pursue Wharton, I think Breno Biden would be one of those to watch out for. That's
who? From where's he from again?
He's playing in Brazil.
How old is he?
He's 20. Breno Biden.
I can't see your tweet. Biden on Biden. Ikram Hussain Takbir. Okay. Let's call it a night. Okay, people. Thank you so much for listening in. Avi was saying agenda. I don't know why he was asking for an agenda. We never ever have an agenda. We probably never will have an agenda because we just go with the flow. Obviously, we have 3-4 talking points in our mind, but we don't need an agenda. We're confident in our knowledge and our camaraderie and our dynamic. So we know, what we're going to talk about. Whatever's out there, we'll talk about it. So we just go with the flow. That's the best way to be. Okay, people. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe on the way out. We'll catch you on the next one. Tuesday is tomorrow. I think Avi's back. Jean is back. Ben B is back. Wednesday, is it me, Jean, and someone else? Thursday, it's me with 2-3 other guests. Friday is Chip and Jean. Saturday might be a preview show / day off. And Sunday back again with the Forever Reds. Again, just to let you know before you start creating rumors again, Ben, the original Ben, is away for another week or so because of family circumstances, and we wish him well. But he might be back. He might be back on Thursday. If not, you'll catch him next week. Avi has got a few other ideas, but he might be doing it himself, but more on that later. You'll see a lot more videos, like pre-recorded ones from me, Gene, whether it's breaking news, press conference reactions, tactical little edited insights. We're bringing more and more content your way. But the only thing we want you to do is just smash a like and subscribe to the channel and hype and share and tell all your friends and family about the channel. Anyway, good night, people. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care and bye for now.